Part 1. The Pines. If you hear screams in the pines, don't follow. That's what Mama always used to say. Every night the wind would whip through the tall pines that surrounded our town, and sometimes in the eerie whistles and moans, Mama would swear she heard screams. But when I was a kid, I never took her warning seriously. Even after what happened to Billy Harper, I didn't listen. Harpersville wasn't much of a town, just a few houses bunched together on the edge of a dark and forbidden forest. Most of the folks who lived there had been born and raised there just like me, and most of them had no idea how truly close we were living on the edge. Our town was basically built right up against the woods, separated only by a highway and the train tracks. You'd think that living so close to the woods would bring us closer to nature, but it did the exact opposite. We feared the forest. I mean, why wouldn't we? It was massive, ancient, and off-limits to anyone who wasn't a ranger. How did the rangers know so much about the forest? Well, because they were the ones who patrolled it every day, searching for anything or anyone that didn't belong. And as far as we knew, the forest didn't belong to anyone. It was theirs. It wasn't like the forest was marked off limits or anything. It was just one of those unspoken rules we all kind of knew. No one went into the forest, not even during the day. I mean, I had friends who were rangers and I'd seen them walk through the forest during training exercises. They seemed like any other normal person at first until they got deep into the trees, and then things changed. The way they moved, the way they looked, it was like they belonged there. It was weird. It was like watching a flock of birds suddenly take flight. The rangers were always serious, always alert, never letting their guard down. I mean, we get it. Their job was dangerous, but still, I couldn't help but wonder why they were doing all of that. What could possibly be in that forest? Well, if you asked any of the townspeople, they'd give you a vague answer like, "Oh, it's just best if you don't go in there." Or if you're lucky, they'd tell you about Billy Harper and how he disappeared after going into the woods. Billy was one of those people who thought he knew better than everyone else. He was a teenager when he decided to sneak into the forest, probably high as a kite. A week later, his mom reported him missing, and the rangers found his truck near the woods. They searched for him for days, but they never found a trace of the kid. Some said he ran off and joined the circus or something. I don't know. But the way our folks acted made me think he was better off dead. As time passed, the warnings became less frequent, but they never stopped. Then one day everything changed. A group of strangers came to town, outsiders with badges and clipboards, and they brought with them an army of new rangers. And those new rangers weren't like the old ones. They were brash and loud, and they didn't seem to care about the forest at all. They wanted to change things, tear down some of the old buildings and turn the town into a tourist trap. And at the center of it all was their leader, a woman with eyes like ice and a mouth that only said bad things. Her name was Agent Reed. She was in charge of the whole operation, and no one, not even the mayor, could tell her what to do. I was only 18 at the time, and I was scared of everything. When Agent Reed offered me a spot on her team, I knew that the warnings were true. There really was something in those woods, and I wanted to find out what. Now looking back, I wish I hadn't been so stupid. My first mission with the Rangers was supposed to be a simple daytime search just to get my bearings, but Agent Reed had other plans. As soon as the sun went down, she called us all to the truck. "We have reason to believe that we may have another Harper situation on our hands," she said. "One of the locals has gone missing." She handed me a flashlight and motioned for me to get out into the forest with her. I followed her deeper and deeper into the woods. The air grew colder and damper, and I could feel the pine needles crunching under my boots. Suddenly, I heard a noise, a scream from deep within the woods. I froze and listened intently. Then another scream, closer this time. Then another. Each scream was different, but they all seemed to come from the same place. I turned to Agent Reed, but she was already moving forward deeper into the trees. I didn't want to go after her, but I had no choice. I took a deep breath and started following. Suddenly, a branch snapped behind me. I spun around and shone my light into the darkness, but I saw nothing. I continued on, my heart pounding in my chest. Finally, we came to a clearing, and in the middle of the clearing stood a single tree. And hanging from that tree was a body. My blood ran cold as I realized that the screams I had heard were the last desperate cries of a dying man. And as I moved closer to the body, I saw that it was the missing local. His eyes were wide with terror, his mouth open in a silent scream. And as I reached out to touch him, I felt a cold hand grab my shoulder. I whirled around, knocking the flashlight out of my hand. In the darkness, I saw a figure emerge from behind the tree. Tall and imposing, he stepped into the faint moonlight, revealing a face that was both human and animalistic. He snarled at me, revealing teeth that were long and sharp as claws. Then he lunged. I screamed and stumbled back, tripping over a tree root. I lay on the ground, staring up at the creature as it approached. Its eyes glowed with a strange light and its breath was hot on my neck. Then it spoke, its voice a raspy whisper. "You should not have come here," it hissed. "This place is cursed. No human is safe here." I tried to speak, but my throat was dry. Who are you?" I croaked. The creature only smiled, a cruel, mocking smile. "You can call me the Guardian of the Pines," it hissed. "And I am here to protect this forest from those who would do it harm." I struggled to my feet, my mind racing. Was this creature responsible for the disappearances? Had it been hunting people all along? "What do you want from me?" I demanded. The creature took a step closer, its eyes boring into mine. "Leave this place," it rasped, "and never come back. If you do, you will die." With that, it turned and vanished into the darkness. I stood there for a moment, my heart pounding in my chest. Then I turned and ran. I ran as fast as I could, stumbling over roots and rocks, crashing through the underbrush, the creature's words echoing in my ears. "Leave this place and never come back." Finally, I burst out of the trees and onto the highway. I could hear the sound of sirens in the distance. Help was on the way. I collapsed onto the highway, my body shaking with exhaustion and fear. As the first rays of sunlight peeked through the trees, I looked back at the forest, my mind still reeling from the events of the night before. What had I gotten myself into? Was I in too deep to escape? Or was this just the beginning of my nightmare? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe.